we are back, ladies, gentlemen, and MBs, for the start of our Valpo Academy Overwatch here at Valpo Esports. I'm your host, Diadem. I'm here with my co-host.
Yeah.
We're going to be taking on Washtenaw this game in the NECC division. So this is the first time that we can actually stream Academy, and I'm really excited because this team obviously has a lot to show. We like to, get a lot of looks on different teams that we have, so definitely going to be some new matchups, some new comps that we like to work as well. So for our starting roster, we're going to have CQ9 and L at the DPS spot, Hamster at the tank, and then Happy Squid and Cry as the supports, filling out that roster. And then on the side of Washtenaw, we have Muty and Jake the Dog on DPS, Smelvin on tank, and Pengy and Crisco, excuse me, on support. So obviously, you're going to see a couple of different comps. Usually what we like to see is that Lucio Kiriko from the varsity squad, but you're going to see it's going to get swapped up a little bit with Mizuki and Juno, which, quite frankly, you still get the area of effect, you still get the speed boost from Juno. It's just kind of shifting a lot of your focus to be more so, how does that healing output come out, right? You want Mizuki on the ground, you need kind of the utility from that, but then Juno is allowed to get the hits gain, kind of cover a lot of wide angles with her healing and give a little bit more space. So we're going to see CQ9 taking an off angle on the left here. Look for any kind of lineup with the right as Hamster changes form. It's going to be an early chain in the chain, early form in the chain. Pulling down is actually going to catch Cry and L in the back. And that's going to be 2 down instantly. Hamster going to be forced to back up here, but Domina instantly taking space and using that coverage she has, especially with the knockback, to just kind of clear out the rest of this time. Happy Squid jumping out, but not going to be able to get out. All that's up to CQ9, but a nice tracking from Smelvin there is going to be able to take that out. And that's going to be a 4K for Smelvin early on in this game.
Yeah, huge out of Washtenaw there at the beginning. Once they got into the point, they didn't really falter and kind of take it over. Now it's going to be on Kid Valpo, break their way back in. Jake the Dog falling to probably single-digit HP there, but able to get out on a Reaper and regroup with the team.
You have to be a bit careful. I mean, you have to see how you want to enter this, but the ult instantly coming out from Domina being able to trade out with the L kill, but it's not actually going to hit. A huge Suzer is going to be able to push him 4 out. Hamster kind of stuck in a weird position beyond that, but you do have the space created for L. Now you just kind of play around the Mizuki ult. Again, you're creating more space, walking forward, trying to get on point, and CQ9 is going to make advantage of that. Instantly take a head tap right there, and Smelvin being the second one to fall here. L with 2, CQ9 with 1, and the rest of the team is on retreat here. You have the TP in from Jake the Dog, though, trying to pull off a little bit of space, but I think it was a bit of a misstep because now that death is going to be a huge stagger. 50% on the point for Washtenaw, but Valpo starting to climb back.
Yeah, you got the Death Blossom ready for L as well. Overclock getting ready for CQ9. So it'll be pretty hard to break back in. Just to be ready. Gates almost for Washtenaw.
Yeah, we're going to see if Hamster pulls the trigger here. Here comes the beatdown immediately right there, but Hamster just gets bursted out before being able to pop ult, and that's going to force Valpo to disengage here. That's going to be 1 down. L almost dying. Happy Squid jumping in to try and save, but falling there, in CQ9 falling in the background as well. L is at least to get out. Same with Cry, but I low-key forgot for a second that Mizuki jumped back. That's like literally the whole part of the kit. A nice TP from L to save himself there. I actually forgot that Mizuki can TP back. I was about to freak out, but you're going to have gates open for both sides here, and Hamster immediately with the you're going to have so much damage. The move speed is just going to be astronomically large because that is 4 down. All that's left is Reaper in the back. Force the TP away. And that's going to be Valpo with a clean take there. You're going to drop, you're going to drop 2 ults out of that at least. But, I mean, 2 ults, especially with a combo like that, is more than worth here. Getting back 75% for Washtenaw. You still have the OC to play with. You still have the Death Blossom to play with. It's just going to be one of those where how do you want to time it? OC is definitely one of those counter ults that you can pop at the end. But I feel like if you're going to get any use out of Death Blossom here, you need to be able to catch them off guard before they're allowed to split up, knowing that you have that ult coming up here. CQ9 controlling a lot of this top lane, but here comes the ult as well, and the TP in from the back. L looking for the Death Blossom. There's the early Death Blossom, but they just disengaged too quick. Although Hamper's able to take one, looking for the second one right here, and he's going to put in work because now they are just walking to the back line. This Ramatra is controlling a lot of that space. You were able to pull Domina ult out as well, so you at least trade 1 for 1 in that movement. Or excuse me, you trade 2 for 1 because you did have the Mizuki ult. So you're at least able to get a little bit more success. You take up on the point, you have 80%, and the kill from Happy Squid right there is actually going to be so huge for spamming out. You see, yeah, you spot it. Happy Squid's able to spot the side. You could walk that, definitely, because you have the Kiriko TP up. You just have to wait for that cooldown. Yeah, here comes Jake the Dog coming around the backside. You're going to be bopped up with Lucio, and then the Death Blossom is going to be able to get the first pick right there. Cry being forced to the back, almost falling down. We're going to see if Domina gets that last shot, and it does. Jake the Dog finishing off that kill. Cry following off as well. You're going to trade 2 for 2. It's going to be a 3v3 onto this point here, turned around, but L's the first one to fall, and Hampton slowly right after not being able to get the Ramatra ult in time. They do make it to 99%, but Valpo now really going to be stuck to one last real team fight here after the respawns, and then probably an overtime stagger if they don't win that team fight. We're going to have to see how Hampton wants to get this ult off. Now's the time to pop OC, create a little bit of space, and give Hampton time to at least get on point and then make use of that Ramatra ult. Here it comes. I mean, they are walking around the left. Cry taking a lot of damage. Have to be careful about another right click. You have the Sojourn lineup right there, and Sojourn is full charge. L being able to TP to the back line. You're going to have the OC pops early. Also pops the ult. The beat is going to be turned for Washtenaw. Here comes the Domina. Going to be able to lock out Ramatra's ult, but it's broken instantly, so he gets the healing back. He's taking a lot of damage. You're working in the back line. The gates are going to be open for Washtenaw. They're going to push in. Muty with the first pick. Hampton is falling down. Not having the take is going to be huge here in the overtime. A big stun as well. Cry's going to be able to take the first kill. Happy Squid jumps out, but not going to be able to survive, and now the OC opened up for Washtenaw, and it is a clean sweep fight for them on this last push. 100% for Washtenaw, going up 1-0.
Yeah, just the ability to hold the beat until everything from Valpo got popped, and that little bit of delay gives Washtenaw the advantage in any fight, really. Just having that extra HP is able to stagger their ultimates, just manage it a little better, which is something we were always talking about, is which teams managing the ultimates better and using them at the best times. Valpo tried to take the fight to them, and unfortunately, when you've got a support ultimate of that nature ready, it's going to be really difficult, no matter how much you pop.
One thing as well that obviously, you know, we have the new characters, in being the first, you know, Valpo Academy match with these new characters, or not match, but stream with these new characters. A lot of people don't know how Domina's ult interacts with a lot of tank ults, and for Ramatra, who gains time off of how many people it's connected to, as long as you're connected to somebody, Domina ult actually isolates Ramatra ult, so you don't get the cooldown refund from that. So if you don't break it quick enough, that kind of focus shift that forces Valpo to break it so that Ramatra can still get the time refund off of it is huge, because it just stops them from, you know, attacking. It stops a little bit of DPS. So Domina being able to save a little bit there, be a nice counter as well, being able to walk into Ramatra, you know, take the space that you need with the ability she has. I feel like this tank matchup is just really hard to perform well in. So I'm a bit surprised that Hampton is still taking that matchup. But obviously, you know, it was a 99 to 100% match last round, so I'm not going to act like it wasn't working. Just a couple of tweaks definitely can help it out. It's just not the easiest matchup to play. But
I do know that Washtenaw banned Reinhardt going into this one, so I'm not sure if that's in Hampton's bag or not, but did remove a tank out of the equation. I don't remember what Valpo banned. I don't think you can both ban tanks. But maybe you actually can. I don't know. Velvet, though, finds the early pick on Hampton. This is going to be rough. Valpo's just going to have to back up or die here. That's to not stagger.
It's rough. I mean, when you play those kind of angles, especially as a Hampton, as a Ramatra, excuse me, when Hampton plays that, it's hard to play into that Domina and just kind of trade damage for damage. Her shield is better than yours. You have a hard time getting out of your form, or getting use out of your form outside of just health refund because of, you know, Domina's pushback. I feel like it's just not a lot winning for you. So when you try and take these corner fights, when you try to just out DPS with your team, it becomes just a brawl, because you're going to have the gates open from the side of Valpo here. They're just going to try and force something on the point. The OC instantly going to hit Domina ult as well, and that's 2 down for the Domina ult. Jake the Dog also popping the DPS. I think it was a little bit short-sighted, because they already had the 2 kills, but you're just going to run them down at this point. CQ9 falling, and that's going to be another team fight loss to Valpo. 80% on this point, and quite frankly, Valpo's got one last scrappy fight to get back to this, but you have so much space controlled on the side of Washtenaw that I think it's going to be kind of hard if you don't get any kind of pick on this off angle. It looks like L is instantly going for that. You're going to have Jake the Dog controlling that right side, so you really have to try and break something, but 95%. Now, Hampton's going to be forced onto this ult. You have the Mizuki ult dropped at least. It's going to be able to create a little bit of space, a little bit of time, and here comes Hampton's ult as well. They're going to pop it and get the first pick onto this point. You get the second one as well. You have to dump everything because it is the overtime. There's no other shot, but the stun stun on Hamster is actually going to stop the DPS. L, though, picking up a double kill along with Hamster's 2. All that's left is 1 on point, and Muni not going to be able to trade out the 4 for 1. That's going to be a team kill going for Valpo and their first capture of this map.
Yeah, Valpo getting the speed drop ready for Crisco out of Washtenaw, so the might use that to just try and come right back into this one, bully their way in. Overclock ready for CQ9.
Yep.
Hopefully, you know, if that gets popped, you gotta find a pick with it, I think. You gotta find something early, because a lot of these fights, it's been that Washtenaws found something early on the second point.
Washtenaw just has that advantage of having beat because they can choose when they engage. You see, you drop Cry low and you drop Hamper in the corner, and then you beat and instantly overtake them, as Hamper being the first one to die. The OC popping out of Washtenaw as well. Excuse me. It's going to be 2 down. You have a brawl on this right side. L is holding a Visor here. He just doesn't get it, but the point's already capped here. I guess he's just worried about popping Visor into the face of Genji, but I mean, at that point, you got nothing else to show. You just got to pop it. It happens, though. Washtenaw being able to go 2-0 in this first map and actually take it over Valpo Academy, moving themselves to 1-0 in this series.
Yeah, much closer first point than the second one. Muty here with the play of the game. We saw some swaps come out from both sides, adapting, but and I think it started to work better here on the second point once L got on the Soldier. But yeah, they just kind of Washtenaw was able to bring the fight to them with the ult management.
Yep.
That never is going to work in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it, ult management, but also the comps were just kind of rough to play. They were very similar, right? You mainly had Jake the Dog matching whatever L was swapping, except for the Soldier at the very end. You had the 2 Sojourns mirrored, right? The backline was different, definitely, and Lucio B added a lot, where I don't think Mizuki gave a lot, but at the same time, it wasn't like a big thing. I feel like it was just that tank matchup controlled that map. Because Ramatra ult is one of the best ults in the game, but when you have Domino who can completely shut it out, and Domino who also just bullies Ramatra, I feel like it's not like that Hamster was playing extremely bad. I just think that's such a hard matchup to play around, that hopefully moving around when you have, you know, not the tank ban here, when it's opened up a little bit, give your team a little bit of space to breathe, I think the comps can be a little bit more flexible and you can get into it. But we will catch you guys at the start of map 2 with the map spans and whatever's going on. And we are back, ladies, gentlemen, and MBs, for the start of our map 2 of this Valparaiso versus Washtenaw Overwatch game. I am your host, Item. I'm here with my co-host.
Yeah.
And we're going to be moving on to Junker Town. Wait.
New Junk City.
New Junk City. I'm so sorry. Yeah, we're throwing Flashpoint. This is NECC. We go Flashpoint second. Makes sense. But no, I think the bands coming into this game, right? We had Domina Band and... Who was the... Juno. That's right, yeah. So we had Domina and Juno. Definitely, I agree with these bans. I think that it's a lot of the kind of counterplay is pulled out of the game when you're facing just this kind of counter tank. But them banning Juno makes sense, right? You go onto a Flashpoint map, you need a lot of speed. Happy Squid is a Juno player as well, so definitely Valpo would get a lot of mileage out of that pick. So it's a good snipe, and you're gonna have the D.Va coming out of Smelvin as well. Just another character with a lot of agency, right? This time D.Va, I feel like, is a lot stronger than Domina just in the current meta. But Beauty actually being able to first pick right there, just a right click down the middle is gonna be able to pick off Cry, and then Valpo has to just try and walk back onto this point. Immediately the blocking right there. You can still play it. It's definitely not over yet because you have the form out of L popping around the corner. It's going to be a lot of damage. Venture falling really, really low here. Venture falling very, very low. Vendetta actually being kind of the bait there. Although CQ9 is able to trade with the Vendetta kill, you do go 1 for 1 and already at a deficit. Definitely not what you're looking for Valpo. You're just kind of worried about this D.Va spacing because I feel like D.Va can kind of take fights however she wants to, especially when L tries to take those off angles like that. It's just so quick to punish, especially on a bullet character like Bastion, right? It's not a flank from, you know, a Symmetra, etc. Somebody that would be able to ignore the D.Va. Any kind of flank from Bastion here is going to be huge if D.Va's not ready for it, but that's exactly what L did. Being extremely patient, waiting for D.Va to be able to be pushed back, and then being able to pop out. I like the decision making right there. D.Va being popped out on this point here, the form already going down, and now Valpo took this fight very slow. Although it's 80% already on the first point, they were able to pick up this first fight kill for them on this map and get the first capture for themselves.
Yeah, able to sneak in there finally and kind of get in. I feel like maybe a little easier to hold around this as opposed to on the control points, a little more area to work with, it feels like. So definitely not as hard.
You have the Ram ult up here. You just have to be careful how you want to play Bastion because you're going to force Bastion on back to the point, but right, that leaves Venture out. CQ9 being able to drop down to the D.Va, just snap engage there. L at least going to be able to trade DPS for DPS, so they are playing a little bit, and then Hampton with the ult here is going to be huge. The instant shutdown on the OC is actually great for the positioning wise. You take out the D.Va mech as well. D.Va just going in, trying to not stagger herself, give themselves one more team fight, but Hampton getting a lot of mileage out of that ult now, being able to just clean up that fight and force the OC out and shut down the OC before that happens, and that quite frankly set Valpo up in an amazing position. A couple rockets here from Bastion ult is going to be able to slow them down when they come through this entrance, but they're not even going to be able to touch it in time. You have to dash in, and that's just going to be it. Valpo gets the first capture, and you force a lot of the ults out, right? You won the fight, forcing ults. Now they don't have it for your fight, and you're sitting on a sitting on a closer ult economy than you were if you had not forced that OC out. So Valpo's still down a little bit, especially with that first pick right there. It's going to be forced down, but you know, it's very similar to how they started the first Flashpoint. I don't think that you're in too much of a spot to panic, especially with the ults that you have available to you, right? Gates, quite frankly, can win you a lot of ults if you just stay away from this Vendetta ult, and you are actually going to survive that. I don't know if the damage went out for it, but L going out and shredding out a little bit longer. You have so many low. CQ9 being able to finish that one off. The beat actually drops really, really late for the side of Washtenaw, excuse me. They are going to be able to get a pick out of this, but you're going to see Hampton just has so much. They're going to force the remech out as well from the self-destruct. You have at least a little bit more space to play. I think Valpo just got to play this a little bit more carefully, a little bit more patient, excuse me, because when you have that pick out, you don't have Hampton's form anymore, right? You're kind of just out on cooldowns. You are going to be able to push that back, but L, with the form, not going to be able to find anything there and just have to wait out the cooldowns. And Valpo's kind of stuck on the back foot again, 30% off the second point.
Yeah, we're actually going to see the swap onto Wuyong off of Ana for Cry. I think we're kind of getting dove by D.Va and probably not having too much impact. Kind of might have felt like a bit of a one support game for Valpo because I think Cry was getting targeted pretty heavily.
Yeah, Diva just makes Ana's game really, really hard to play. So being able to swap to Wu Young, somebody with a lot of escapability, with a lot of survivability, definitely helps in the backline. And CQ9 with the ult right there, and then L with the right click being able to finish that off. The gates coming from the side of, the gates coming from the side of Washtenaw doesn't get much value here because you're just going to trade it back out with your own gates. And now the fight's already won. Valpo with the capture as well, and up on ult economy. They've swapped it completely now to the point to where they have a lot open. I wonder how L wants to use this ult here, if they want to just slow it down a little bit or just wait for the fight to break out. Because quite frankly, I think it's really hard to wait for that fight to break out when you know you have a diving tank on your team, right? You kind of have to play a little bit more preventive, a little bit earlier. And yeah, you're going to have to slow down right here, and then the ult coming out from L to just shut down this choke right here. It is going to be able to get a little bit of damage off, but not finish off anybody's per se. Just slow him down a little bit. CQ9 still harassing around this corner. I like this. You're able to force the block out of Vendetta really early, and here comes the beat and the self-destruct to be able to remech. They're pushing in. The OC drops as well. They have just popped 3 ultimates in a row here to get out, but you're trading 2 for 1. Valpo's still playing on the point. You still have the Ramatra ult, and yep, you're gonna pop it right now because you can turn this. You have so much space to play around. Vendetta just gonna walk right back into it and give the second kill of this Ram ult, Ram ult pulling away, and Hamster holding down the point on their own here. Just shredding out exactly how you need to. L being able to get back as well. You have the Diva on the point, the capture, but you just peek out that kill. Hamster did as much as they could to get that shred out, and now you have the Diva DMEC, and the rest of Valpo is here. You traded out the 1v3 for a 4v3 because now Valpo is completely back on the map. They are just shredding out, and the picks are slowly going to them. They have to play around this ult, but yeah, Vendetta ult just cannot do you much here. Lucio trying to jump around the corner to get any kind of delay here. Cry finishing that out in second point, going to Valpo on an insanely clutch hold.
Yeah, I'd say Valpo's doing a lot of what Washtenaw did in the first one, and just kind of waiting till after Washtenaw does, and give yourself that advantage that even if it's a few seconds after, yours extending past theirs is going to help. And we actually see some Valvin switching over to Sigma.
Yeah, definitely just realizing that Hamster was getting a little bit too much mileage out of their backline. So you get Sigma, somebody that can not only like counter poke really, really well, but you're not really playing into poke. More so just somebody that can play with the team a little bit better than Diva does, a little bit less independent, because that way you just stick around them, make sure that they're not poking out your tank too much here, or poking out your backline too much here. You're gonna have gates open for both sides here. Hamster formed early, but immediately the shred right there. It's gonna be so much healing, and CQ9 just pumping out damage with the Venture ult, and that's gonna be huge to set up, and a clean 5-0 team kill for Valpo with the traded ults, getting them the second capture on this point, which again, second capture of the whole, their third second capture of the whole map. Love to see it. But now, you have L popping up with ult. You have the Sigma ult, which is going to be a little bit rough if you try to set up anything here. Yeah, L going to get to a safe spot before popping this ult. Make sure you're not in that Sigma line of sight. Immediately, 2 pops right there, going to force the Suzu out, but Cry curving a shot right there, just curving the bullet and being able to take out Jake. That early pick is actually going to be huge here because that can at least escort them to around 75% without having a true 5v5 team fight. So it's going to delay him down a little bit. Picks like that are just so huge, but Beauty popping around the corner on the off angle, and then a pull up right there is going to be able to hit 2 for the side of Valpo to jump in. You still have Ramatra ult to hold down this corner, but here comes the high noon Beauty. 2 kills and 2 picks here, and after getting rocked there in the form, not going to be able to get enough damage. L at least trades out 1, but it's not going to be enough. Valpo falling in this second fight. You do have Hamster ult, but I feel like now is the part where you're playing, you have Ramatra ult, but they have beat. Right, that kind of mismatched timing that you were taking advantage of earlier in the game with Lucio not having beat, but Hamster having ult instantly is synced up a little bit better in the favor of Washtenaw. So you have at least some kind of disengage to it. You have a little bit of speed to it, especially if Lucio took the amp beat. But we'll have to see if they want to push in. Hamster dropping really low. I feel like if you don't have that block form, yeah, you just gotta walk out, but you're gonna pop the beat, and here comes the there's the beat, and there's Hamster's ult as well. That's the trade that we're talking about, kind of the sync up that Valpo doesn't really want, because now Hamster's just left with no cooldowns, really low, and that pick is actually gonna secure them, it looks like here. The first point of the map for Washtenaw going up, closing the gap a little bit, 1-2. They do have the contest on point, actually, from somebody dropping in from Valpo, and then Cry coming around the corner, not going to be able to get Muty. Muty may be getting traded out here by L, but the overclock time just ticked away, and that's the actual point capture that we were looking for. I jumped the gun a little bit, not to the miscredit of Valpo. I apologize, but Valpo now kind of stuck in a weird stacker position where L is getting chased out. Bastion is just too big to get up those boxes. We cannot get up that slide. I'm so sorry, Bastion. It's okay. I get it. But now Valpo is just down 2 here, and they pretty much given up all the positioning they want on this point here. 10 seconds left, so you're not going to immediately lose percentage for this, but you are just making it a lot harder to entry back onto this point, even with the ults that you have available to you, because quite frankly, they won a lot of those fights there without many ults to spare. So Washtenaw just being up 4 right now with beat already on 60%. Yeah, the flex is going to drop early because I feel like some guys had that ult for a really early time, and Jake the Dog is just coming in to finish it up with the Death Blossom. That's going to be 2 ults down, and that's going to be 4 people down for Valpo. Soon to be 5 here with Hamster. That's Black the Rock, though. It's the mini victories that count. But Valpo going down in the first team fight here, 25% on Washtenaw and ticking.
Yeah, it's going to be rough because they did use 2 ultimates, but they have the gates and they've got High Noon, and Beat's pretty close to coming back. Valpo has everything except Ramatra. So, be interested to see if they want to commit to this one or want to save it for the last one.
Yeah, I feel like the rough thing is you really need to pop this now. The hardest thing is that when they pop ults, you can't just wait afterwards because you're giving them more chance to loop their ults back around on you before you've had the chance to use. You do not want to waste that ult charge that comes from these intermittent fights, but Jake the Dog, first kill right there, and they just have so much momentum now. A really nice burrow from CQ9 though, and Venture is just completely reclaimed this fight. It's at least going to be a 2v2. The flank from Smelvin is going to be great though with the rock. It's actually not going to finish off anything as Cry gets the trade around the corner. Hamster falling really low, but pops the ult right there to get the form refresh, and that's actually going to save them here. Overtime ticking away, and now Valpo with the first capture, even though Washtenaw has 99% on the point. You are sitting on a 3 ults. You have to be careful about the flux. The flux is going to be before anybody for the side of Valpo gets them back, so you are still down in economy, but it's manageable. This is doable, especially if you get mileage out of at least one of your ults. I think CQ9 has had amazing Venture ults so far in this map. Definitely always been fight defining. So I don't doubt that. And you're gonna have to beat Noon especially quick here, just to try and get any kind of damage out. Hamster kind of surrounded on point, but oh, the ult and pops. I jinxed it. I'm so sorry, CQ9. I actually jinxed it, popped down, and then instantly shredded right there from Muty, and the rest of the crew just getting too much damage. The form is at least going to try and keep Hamster alive. The gates are open to try and save it, but the Flux is going to be able to pick up 2 in the back line. And there's a nice Suzu coming from Happy Squid to time it out. Almost gets the trade off, but L finishing it off there. L with a double kill. He's still alive on point. Muty actually trying to trade around, but Valpo is just kind of staggering it out here. All you can do when the overtime's ticking, and now it's going to be 2-2. Moving on to the 5th point of New Junk City. If you didn't know, flashpoints always start on the first map and always end on the same map, but every map in between them is randomized.
I did not know that.
A psychic told me that once. That's all I know. They told me a lot of wrong things as well though, so I might have just missed that completely. It's okay. But now Valpo actually swapping to the Reinhardt. You did pop the Ramatra ult pretty early, so definitely a good time to swap if any. Give him at least some kind of thing. Hit him, hit him unexpectedly here, but you're going to see Sigma using the flying perk to just get up to the top with the TP from Jake the Dog. That's going to trade out, and instantly 3 fall down for the side of Valpo. And all of a sudden, hey, we take those, boom! You at least went out with 1, but Hamster falling right after that pin, and that's going to be the first capture for Washtenaw. But quite frankly, nothing we haven't seen before from a Valpo win, right? It's first capture. It's happened, I think, every single point. As to now, Valpo has just not really been setting themselves up for success in a lot of these spots, but do have the Reinhardt swap into the Sigma, which I like. Definitely a good pick here, something that you want to take, because Sigma takes a lot of advantage with the kind of like mid-range, that you have. L with a double kill right there. Oh, and a nice timing from the grenade as well, being able to pick that off. Kiriko flying up to the corner. All that's left is Sigma and Kiriko, but Kiriko cannot stand much longer. All that's left is Sigma on point to try and delay. Just standing in the middle there, be as annoying as you can to make sure you don't stagger the team. 65% for Washtenaw, but the first capture for Valpo on this final point. You got to be careful here. You have 4 ults. coming up on 5 in 4% here. I think Washtenaw can kind of just face roll their keyboard and win this next fight if you don't play this positioning carefully. You cannot get caught out by a beat rush here. They have done it 3 times entering. You cannot leave it out, but you're going to have the Flux instantly dropped up right there. It's going to be able to pick, but Valpo with 2 picks right there through it. You're going to have the hammer down, but it's not, or excuse me, the Earth Shatter, but it's actually not going to connect. Quite frankly, it doesn't really matter, though, because you instantly traded out 4, going on 5 here for Valpo. A huge team fight win to clear out the Flux, and you've delayed so much time that now they are forced to face roll their keyboard. The time they get back, they're realistically going to have 1 fight, and during that fight, it's going to hit 99. You have to at least speed out a little bit, and if they want to, they're going to start to panic. Crisco almost taking a lot of damage coming around the side, but probably going to see some kind of rush here coming in. I wouldn't be surprised if the gets pop for, but CQ9 gets picked out, and that's actually going to be huge on the right side because now they can instantly pop in. You're going to get the ult coming out of, let's go. The ult coming out of Reaper as well, but the beat is dropped in corner. Both gates are open here. Valpo just trying to jump back. It is going to be the 99 like we talked about, but the point is instantly going to get captured. Cry just having to fall down. Excuse me, I delayed out a little bit there, but they dropped 3 of their ults. That was the point. They dropped beat, gates, and they had Reaper ult early. Although Reaper didn't get any picks out of it, at least created enough space for Washtenaw to get set up on their beat better, but 90% on the clock. You're gonna have to speed in right now. You cannot delay this right now. You have 96%. You have the TP in from L. They definitely timed that, and a nice Wraith mode to be able to dodge the rock. You're at 93%. You got the overtime tick. You have to play this slow. Give yourself a little bit of space to move. The high noon is popped, and then gonna walk around the corner. Valpo just trying to disengage. He's so fast, but he misses the shot, and now you have to turn from L. You're at least gonna trade 1, but L gets 2. Looking for the 3rd up top. The Suzu's gonna be huge to be able to save it. Valpo still playing no overtime. You have CQ9 ulting in the backline as well. The damage is going to be enough. Cry finishing it off. All that's left is Kiriko on point. And Valpo, L with a triple kill. And Cry finishing off that shot is going to secure them the 3rd point in this flashpoint, moving this series 1-1. Whew. I love it. I love it. The way they played around Cassidy ult was so hugely insane there. I feel like that was kind of the determinant, is that even when you were trying to take that high ground, L knew, not to push it, not to push it too quickly. Being able to dodge that high noon as well forces Cass out of position for no picks, and then L instantly cleaned up right after. And Hampter with the ult here. Really, really electric finish to this, and exactly what we wanted to see out of them going into this map too.
Yeah, tying it up series 1-1 in this best of 5, so
yeah.
Not anywhere near over yet, but a huge out of Valpo. It came down to the wire there, but they got it done. No reverse sweep in game 2. So
I see Simon in the chat. Yeah, that's what we were talking about the first game with that Domino ult. And it's exactly what we benefited from now with Domino banned. Obviously, it's going to be coming back. Right, you can only keep it down for 1 round, but you took advantage of that 1 round and you were able to win that with the Ramatra for 4 of those 5 rounds, and then the swap to Ryan at the very end. Definitely helpful. Definitely gave your team the best chance at success there. So I like the comp switch ups that Valpo made here. I like the energy that they brought into it, and I like that even at the threat of a reverse sweep, they were able to at least show up and handle business on the 5th point, even into that overtime. So I like seeing that fight. Hopefully, going to be able to take that into map 3. But we will catch you guys when we know the maps, the bans, and then how we're rolling. We are back, ladies, gentlemen, and enemies, for the start of our map 3 of this Valpo versus Washtenaw Overwatch NECC match. I'm your host, Adam. I'm here with my co-host.
Yeah.
And we are going to be moving on to Blizzard World. This is a personal favorite map of mine, but I know a lot of people who feel the exact opposite. Kind of a polarizing map. Usually, just it's based on that second point. Second point is really frustrating to a lot of people, and just how to play it. It's definitely one of the weirder ones, but I want to see how Valpo wants to play this, because obviously, you know, you gotta practice something. But we're gonna see them take this high ground up top here. Pretty standard, especially with the maps we had Ram and Soj banned for both sides. So gonna see a bit of a tank swap up. Also gonna see a DPS swap up. Sojourn definitely being one of the stronger picks we saw over the past map. But we're gonna have Emery up top actually to replace that, and a double hit scan going on the Blizzard World. I feel like double hit scan definitely benefits on Blizzard World. You have a lot of lines of sight that you can play down. Definitely a lot harder to dash up to these maps, especially if you know you're not playing like any of those kind of engage heavy tanks, like a Doomfist, like a Winston, like a Diva, right? Somebody that can cover that range really quickly. And you're gonna see Hamster just force the dash around the left side, being able to get a lot of mileage out of this Wuyong though, especially around these wave kind of lines of sight that you have. But you're gonna have the Juno out for Happy Squid as well. We saw it banned last map, so now gonna be able to get some mileage out of it, be able to pop to the back, and now Hamster pushing in, and Valpo is actually already on this point. Hamster is just falling really low here. You're looking for any kind of trade from L out of the Vendetta. Get a little bit of trade off. CQ9 doing a lot of damage up top and gonna be able to force them off. Suzu does land as well, and now they push to the left. You're gonna have to play a little bit around this corner, but nobody has died yet to the side of Valpo, and I don't know if I just jinxed that right there. You're gonna have to dash up. Yeah, Jake the dog popping Happy Squid again for this, and now L being able to trade out at least. So you do go 1-for-1 in this spot, and I think that does favor Valpo because you do have the quicker spawn. You have at least the ability to get back to this point, but Hamster with no shield, at least getting the health back. But obviously you don't want to trade too much with your too much with your health. And now your ult's gonna pop up, look for some kind of trade, and then the jump out is actually when you bait the Wuyong ult. Don't get any mileage out of that, and now Sigmund can just step up and play this point. Here comes the Emery ult as well, coming up over top. I don't know if Valpo has anybody to shut it down. The right click is gonna be able to take out Happy Squid. Try the next target for this shot. And that's gonna be, oh my goodness, almost missed through there. Kengi picking up the kill on Hamster as well, and that's gonna be a clean 4-for-0 team fight going over to Washtenaw.
Yeah, the first third of the point captured for Valpo, though. About minute 50 remaining to get in there and unlock the card. So, not the end of the world, but Washtenaw did a pretty good job of delaying for a good portion at the beginning of this one, holding the high ground, and Reinhardt, not exactly the best character for getting up there.
Can you imagine if you had Sim TP with Shatter here? Oh my goodness, my mouth is drooling right now, and I don't even play Reinhardt, but it's gonna be all 5 up on top, and you're just gonna see Hamster stuck in no man's land. You just can't walk up when your shield is getting shredded like that, especially when Bastion's in form. I feel like just a bit of a miscalculation there, getting a little bit too antsy, and a minute 20 left on the clock. I was gonna say before that happened, this has been surprisingly disciplined gameplay from both teams. I think it's rare that you see a first checkpoint hold like that off of 1-to-1 trades, especially with the space that Washtenaw gave. And I like that coming out of both teams. With Valpo, you know, eventually somebody has to lose the team fight. But overall, the dash onto point now, you're going to see they're just going to bum rush it again. This Hamster dash around the corner, but CQ9 just stuck in a weird spot. You have the Wraith mode to be able to get out. The healing there coming from the beam is going to be used, and then instantly trying to hit this, Sigma in the air. You're going to have the Wuyong ult popped as well. And the burst down, you have Reinhardt pushed on the point, but it is going to be a positive trade coming for Valpo, and now you push Sigma around the corner looking for the dash, not going to be able to get the knock-up or the pin there. CQ9 just coming back out of spawn, but you're going to get L trading out on the support there, and Hamster falls Hamster gets the kill as well. Valpo winning that team fight and being able to win at least their first capture on the point, giving themselves 3 more minutes left on the clock. Emery's just going to reset there to make sure they don't stagger any more kills, and hopefully going to be able to set back up as Valpo begins their payload.
Yeah, gonna have 3 ultimates ready as well for Valpo. Still have the Shatter online. It hasn't used the Death Blossom. And the, I don't even know what this one's called.
You know what? It's scary that I forgot what the Vendetta ult is called as well. You cannot block rock. The Bastion ult is gonna hit right there. L just being able to block the damage at least from it, but still pushing around the corner. You have to be careful around this left side. You just, especially with Reinhardt, although, you know, Hamster does like this matchup, and we saw this matchup last match as well, you lose so much range because Reinhardt can never cover the distance that Sigma's going to cover, especially playing high ground to high ground. And high ground owns the second point of Blizzard. If you cannot break that with any of your team, it's really hard to play. And I feel like with Reinhardt, you kind of just signed yourself off to walking down underneath. But obviously, you know, sometimes it's better to just take comfort. It's better to just take the pick that you want, especially if you feel like it's a counter. So now, CQ9 going out. Both gates are going to be able to drop for both teams here. They're still pushing in. The Earthshatter is going to be able to hit on the Bastion, but the Suzu's just going to keep Bastion alive. L coming in to clean up and gets the double, or excuse me, CQ9. Oh my goodness. L gets the one trade, but CQ9 with the Death Blossom, they're going to be able to trade too with Hamter. I apologize. That is going to be a clean team kill for Valpo. I like the timing that CQ9 was looking for. You saw the Suzu out, you had the Earthshatter out, you had the jump from Kiriko as well. You pretty much have your Kiriko spending everything she can to try and save Bastion there, so it just leads to a clean Death Blossom. I like the patience holding it, not, you know, TPing in right after Earthshatter, for being able to wait a little bit, just kind of recognize that you have so many piercing projectiles on the side of Valpo's team here that this really, you know, rare kind of sightline is actually huge. And we still have the spectator bug where we can't see fire strikes coming out of Hamter, but, you know, small indie company. Thank you, Blizzard. It's a casting technique. You have to be able to predict where the fire strike is going to hit. You know, that's going to be key. But the Bastion ult coming out for Washtenaw, trying to cut off Hamter in the corner. The rock's going to be big there, but the healing is just a little bit too much. And here comes the ult out of Vendetta as well. L look for any kind of damage. Not going to be able to land it, but you do give a little bit of space to CQ9, and he is going to make, take advantage of that. Gets the first pick in this fight, and now you're going to have a 4-man push on this point here, trying to get a little bit of space. The ult's going to be actually huge. It lifts Hamter, and Hamter is definitely dying to the flux there. Yeah, too much damage. CQ9 at least going to be able to trade out and pull Sigma down. L pulls Sigma down. Excuse me, using the Vendetta third strike, and now looking for the picker on the left, not going to be able to find it. Lucio falling really low. They're going to force the Suzu out of Cry, and here comes the ult out of Emery. Now that you don't have the Suzu, don't have the jump, it's really hard to play around. That's going to be a double kill, looking for the triple kill. The Wraith mode slowly coming out of CQ9 and dropping right there. Mutant just going to pop form to try and rush them down. All this left with 2 people to the side of Valpo. They're going to be forced to retreat here. 1 minute 20 left on the clock.
Yeah, huge ult out of Washtenaw, pushed Valpo back. They've got the gates ready though on Cry again. Last time that was huge to get Reaper in there.
Yeah, I mean, now you have the gates to open the corner. Cry getting really aggressive looking around, but I don't think he expected to just face check right there. But now, immediately going to get the gates open there, and they slam down from it. Reinhardt's going to be able to set up the first kill. Look for the second one right here. Vendetta, ult coming down. L gets the second kill, a double for him, pushing on to the point. Looking for the third. Hamster's being able to finish off the third, and Valpo just cleans out this fight. CQ9 getting that fourth one as the rest of the team pushes that point. Valpo capturing all 3 with 47 seconds left, and a strong first start on Blizzard World, even through a couple of roadblocks.
Yeah, Washtenaw will have to take this cart the entire distance here if they do want to take this into overtime. It'll end here if Valpo does stop them at any point with a map win, taking Valpo up 2-1 in the series.
Yeah, I am interested because now I feel like comp-wise you're stuck at a weird spot to where you can still rock Reaper Vendetta, but I feel like if you're not on offense, you lose a lot of the defensive setup that you get out of that comp. Yeah, okay, Valpo's just mirroring the DPS that we saw last round. I like it. You swap it up completely. You're gonna go 2-hit scan. Hamter pulling out the the Domina as well, which actually I was wondering what we were gonna take for tank, because I was saying, like, again, with Reinhardt you give up so much of the benefit of being on defense on Blizzard World, but it was working, right? I'm not gonna tell you to swap off a pick that was working, but I think this is the right decision. I think that, you know, going with a little bit of a character with a bit more space, and you're actually rocking 4-hit scans on Blizzard World, which, hey, if there's a map to rock 4-hit scans, why not? Right, you have a lot to use out of it, as Alari's going to be your 4th one, rounding out that roster. I think the Kiriko, I like keeping the Kiriko here. It's just too strong of a pick. Granted, too strong of a character in general. Like, you just can't stop Kiriko, which as a support player, I'm not complaining. But it's alright, because He's still pushing around this corner. Washtenaw getting a little bit of space here, looking for some kind of shot. You have a nice Alari killer set up here, and Jake the Dog actually falling really low. CQ9 getting a Suzu out to the right side, and Cry getting up the first kill here. Hamter with the track and being able to pick off the second kill there, and now you have the complete advantage. Valpo having CQ. I like this. This is the one difference that Valpo is kind of employing right now compared to how Washtenaw played this defense is, although you're mirroring a very similar comp, you're taking two of your players and putting them on an off angle. It's a lot harder to pay attention to these two because you saw Valpo kind of just ran underneath and was able to get that. A right click from Jake the Dog though is going to be able to finish it off, and Suzu just escorts them to the corner. Al getting really dangerous up front. You don't have a lot of burst healing that you were looking for, and Muty, yeah, being able to finish off that kill, and the Bastion form being able to, get the third kill right there, and Valpo's just kind of stuck. Oh, look at somebody on the off angle. They just bum rushed 5 people to the point, and you didn't disengage quick enough. You kind of just sunk your all into that fight, and it's really hard to take that 3v5, especially when, you know, your other 2 players are at an angle that can't help you in that hallway. So Valpo losing out the first capture, and it's gonna be 5 minutes here on the play for Washtenaw, escorting this payload.
Yeah, losing. You know, you mentioned they had the 2 players split up. One of the 2 that were the other direction is one of your supports. So once the support was picked up on the high ground, it was very hard for Valpo to hold that. They kind of just had to give it up, and Washtenaw recognizing that very early and ran straight into the hallway up the stairs.
Yeah, Cry putting on a clinic right now on the Alari shot, so you can't complain. Definitely didn't use how it hits Kane. I think, like, obviously now second point is much easier than first point to just not get bum rushed on. You know, play your space a little bit more effectively, give yourself a little bit more time. So I like that they kept the comp. I like that they kept the setup going into this. I think that was the right decision. But L just kind of failing to geometry right there on the pick. Not going to be able to drop off, and that's going to be 2 down for the side of Valpo after you lose the DPS here. Beauty on a really nice off angle, looking for his 3rd kill of this fight. Just pushing off a little bit too strong here. The right click, not the right click, but Jake the Dog just finishing off those 2 kills there. Valpo getting a really staggered fight, and you're kind of stuck in a corner here if you see Q9. As Ember, you do have the ult coming up, so I'm wondering if he's just looking for that, looking for some kind of pick off. Doesn't find the right click, doesn't find the grenade there, but almost finds the 1v1 here. Looking for the grenade. Suzu is just gonna immediately dodge that around, and the rest of Valpo was falling down here. A nice shield from Hamter being able to block that rock, but now Suzu is forced back, and Valpo is stuck in such a rough stagger that you haven't had a real, like, true fight, especially a spot to use any of these ultimates that you've had for a while. And since Washtenaw is benefiting from that, they've just built all 5.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge alt dump versus alt dump here probably once they get to this show. At the moment, the numbers favor Washtenaw.
Yeah, I mean, you're just walking up. Yeah, there's the gates. I like the early gates out of Happy Square. You're trying to push in, but Hampton takes so much damage. The Emerald is going to come out of Washtenaw as well, looking for the first pick in the back line. They have a lot of healing going to it. CQ9 was able to hold the ult, so as long as CQ9 doesn't get picked... Oh, Happy Squid actually gets picked there instead of CQ9. You still have the chance to ult this, but here come the gates coming out of Washtenaw. It's going to make it really hard to try and just face this. And the beat drops as well. Makes CQ9's ult really tough to try and break this. Tries to fly around, but Jake the Dog is just shredding everybody in Valpo's backline. That's going to be 5 ults out of them. Nothing left here. And Washtenaw still has 2 ults to their name here. One of them getting popped right now to at least chuck a little bit of health out of the point. And now, I mean, as they escort here, this is everything they wanted. The Flex is going to be dropped out, trying to pull anybody out of the side of Valpo. Does get hit down. Nobody drops, and a huge fire strike in the back line, but Smelvin's going to be able to drop down and finish off L. CQ9 looking for the first kill. You're actually going to trade tanks here, so this is pretty good for Valpo, as now you can walk forward. You've gotten rid of that ult economy that you were so worried about with the Flux not being able to get any picks there. CQ9 with the double kill has saved a little bit of this timing here. 3 minutes left, and you are in you are in an advantageous spot when it comes to ults.
Yeah, only issue is the point is so close for Washtenaw to just being fully captured. I mean, they have 2 meters to take it.
It's such a fragile spot that it's like if you don't get use out of one of your ults, that could cost the game. Right, that could cost this whole round. And CQ9 just walking back, Wraithmo dropping a little bit too far and just getting shredded out by the Rock and Bastion. And now Hampton's stuck in a bad position. You won't even really need those ults because it looks like Valpo is just dropped in this fight right here off of a couple of picks. Happy Squid jumping in, trying to just save the point for Smelvin with the double kill. It's going to finish it off. Not even the Venture swap can get you in time. Valpo falling, excuse me, not falling, but tying it up here. But 3 minutes on the clock for Washtenaw compared to the minute that Valpo is going to have in this overtime.
Yeah, definitely not impossible, but it'll be a little rough with the amount of time Valpo has left themselves here in overtime.
Yeah, you got the cards stacked against you, quite frankly, when you're playing like this. But it's all right. I feel like Valpo can't really focus too much about, on the time. More so that the time, all in my experience, that it really helps you do is it's not so much about the payload push. It's more so about the opening push. So if Valpo can hold up 1 or 2 fights on the opening push, at least, get to payload push here on offense, and then on defense, force it into overtime when they capture the point. I feel like that's the recipe to success here. It's just all about getting a very clean opening rollout and getting past this, first choke that Blizzard World has.
Yeah, and I mean, they struggled a bit with that first choke compared to the others, I'd say, on the map, getting through it. That was kind of the initial time burner, was Washtenaw was able to hold this high ground. Valpo, though, sticking with the Reinhardt, try and break through this one. Probably just looking to avoid the high ground and kind of go around.
Yeah, I mean, they have Kiri on an off angle here, but Kiri can just, oh, that's not...
That's not much time to work with. That's a little rough. But
it's a 1 or 2 second difference. I mean, at the end of the day, if you get a pick here, that's not the worst. But it looks like Washtenaw actually switching it up a little bit, seeing doing what we saw Valpo do, which is go 3 and then 2 on an off angle. You have Every in the background kind of play a little bit more safe, being the squishier hits game. But you're just pushing a little bit too hard, and the Scorch is just stuck in no man's land because nobody can follow up. And with no supports, it makes the rest of this fight so hard because Valpo just gets cleaned out here, and then 20 seconds left. They have to just try and push again onto this point. You did at least push Washtenaw back into their objective, but I feel like now you have to play into Bastion form with 10 seconds left. And oh my goodness, the rock from downtown is going to be able to hit. CQ9 with the TP, 5 seconds left on the clock. They're going to have to whoosh in here. Early Wraith form, you're going to have to see, yep, does get the tap by Hamster, just pays life for it. Same with CQ9, and Valpo is just staggering onto the point here. I don't see much success coming out of this, and all that's left is for Valpo to hope for a draw here with no touch on the overtime as they move into the final round of overtime.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. You got to keep Washtenaw out for over 3 minutes. I don't know. It's got to be basically perfect from Valpo.
Yeah. It's gonna be rough, and it's the most depressing thing to try your hardest out for 3 minutes for the best case scenario to be a draw. There's no win here for Valpo, but the best case scenario is that we go to a game 6, right? Like, we have the possibility of a game 6 in this series. So hopefully Valpo gonna be able to clear out a little bit. We're gonna see what comps they want to run. Okay. We're not going double hit scan, but we do have Reaper CQ9, which I feel like has had a lot of success. I see the idea, especially with Blizzard World, you have a lot of TP opportunities, so don't think it's the worst idea, and any kind of damage that you can put out here is going to be safe for you. So hopefully Valpo going to be able to put up as much as they can, and you also have the Mercy in the backline coming out of Cry.
Yeah, I guess the thought process there is probably revive.
Yeah,
because if someone falls, I mean, the odds that your team can hold on in a disadvantage and let you get back here at this first point are going to be pretty low. But Valpo
also, you have
up early.
You have damage boost Bastion.
Yeah.
Like when all else fails, just damage boost Bastion. So I don't think it's a bad idea. I think at this point you gotta just try something here. The pushing's gonna be huge. Hamster taking already half health, falling pretty dangerously low here. CQ9 looking for any kind of shot. Looking for Jake to be the first pick, but Jake just gets the shred here. We're getting used out of the revive before Cry falls, but that's just gonna be CQ9 as well, falling in the back line. And time for Hamster, CQ9 falls, and then Valpo is back to the 3v5 that they're looking for because Cry also is dead. And Valpo, it looks like it's just gonna be all downhill from here. The Suzu can't really do much on the point as Hamster falls, and that's gonna be a quick capture here on the first fight. Valpo falling down in the second map and falling 2-1 in the series. Still, it's gonna be best of 3, so you still got one more shot at it. But in the long run, Washtenaw taking that win. I miss Lego Bastion. I wish we had Lego Bastion back in the shop. I missed out on Lego Bastion, and I've been kicking myself ever since. such a fun skin. But yeah, Valpo definitely going to be moving on to the fourth map here in the series, right? You know, it's going to be 2-1, so hopefully going to show us, you know, any kind of spark. Hybrid maps are never the easiest to, you know, come off of a flashpoint, so it's hard to take that momentum that you have. Hopefully going to be able to turn around a little bit moving into the fourth map, but I think that's going to be it from us in the booth here. Until our next map, we will catch you guys at the start of our break, or excuse me, at the end of our break. And we are back, ladies, gentlemen, and MVs, for the start of our map 4 of this Valpo Washtenaw versus Valpo Academy Overwatch game for the NECC. I'm your host, Adam. I'm here with my co-host,
Yeah.
and we're going to be moving on to Coliseum for this 4th map. It's going to be 2-1 in favor of Washtenaw now, so Valpo, on the back foot, fighting from elimination here. Hopefully going to be able to get a quick rollout going. Sojourn is back up, right? Ram is also back up, so you have a couple of comfortable picks that we've seen Valpo take before. Definitely nothing that we haven't seen before. You have the Domina coming out of the side of Washtenaw. Had a lot of success. The Genji as well. Genji less so, but I think, obviously when you play push point, when you play Coliseum, you have just so much verticality to wall climb off of. Makes it really hard to touch you. I feel like you can choose your engages really well. Definitely a map that you want to play. So hopefully Valpo gonna be able to break the streak a little bit here, falling down, falling down in overtime of Blizzard World last map. So be able to get at least a little bit of spread. Push up. You have no form. You're gonna be able to play with the wall. The reflect there from the Ram is actually gonna slow down a little bit of the push, but after just gets bursted so hard and with no more cooldowns left in the Bastion form alive, it's so hard for Valpo to play this, and they're just going to get shredded down, getting pushed away, and now Washtenaw gonna have their first capture of this point and instantly take the lead.
I think a big, huge key for Valpo here is going to be understanding that there's still 8.5 minutes left in this game. It's nowhere near over. You may have lost this initial push, and Washtenaw is going to get some of that initial distance still up on you, but it's definitely not over. I don't know. I know we keyed on it with this tank matchup, and it's just not Ramatra favorite, so I don't know if they're going to switch it up. I don't recall what the bans were either direction, but
I don't think Valpo has any reason to panic or anything. It's kind of biggest thing, especially when you lose your first push, is need to choose when your second engages, and it's based on where that robot is. So if it means giving up space, you give up space. But Mizuki ult's instantly gonna hit. Domina also ults out on the Ramatra just in case there is any kind of damage out. The beat drops as well for Washtenaw. It's gonna be a lot of damage, but L is sitting on Reaper ult now. You have 2 down for the side of Valpo, just going to TP back up. Probably not gonna look for another engage here. The Wraith mode coming out, and CQ9 stealing the robot. So CQ9 actually delays out that push a little bit there. It's gonna force them to walk the robot back, and that's gonna cut them a good like 10%. I mean, the fight was pretty lost at this point. I like the play from him, being able to sneak around the corner. You did pay with your life, but that's how it goes, right? You just kind of have to trade for something. And it is going to slow them down a bit because now they just started their push back again with the point, and even then they're contested, right? So you're kind of stuck at this point, walking around. You do get the opening blade, and then here comes the ult from Genji right there. That's going to be the first one. CQ9 at least traded out, and Valpo wins out the fight 3v4 here on the back of the hamster ult, pushing out to the corner, and actually a pretty good trade for them is now they're pushing back. Domina falling down to one hamster, trying to trade this out a little bit, knowing you don't have the support help right now. But Mute is actually trading out 2 here, and then the ult from Bastion is going to trade out the 3rd. And somehow, against all odds, they won the 2v3 there and actually pushed back to the point. It's going to be big, not because it's really causing you. It's not going to be like the craziest fight win of all time, but it's slowed down as Cry gets a double kill right there. Look for the 3rd, but Jake the Dog actually picks off Happy Squid around the corner, so it is a bit of a stagger. And Valpo grabbing this robot, but again, it's probably not going to hit checkpoint before the rest of Washtenaw is ready to contest it.
yeah, huge. Valpo could be bringing this robot back to Central. 94 meters captured for Washtenaw up until this point, 6 minutes remaining, but the wall is still kind of getting set up here by the Washtenaw tank. It's very difficult for them to get in. The ultimate actually going to get popped in immediately here. Valpo falling very low.
It's a nice turn
though, and L finds some. We've got the scoreboard different color glitch again.
Yeah, no, I like the turn on from Domina there, but, L already got the mileage out of that Death Blossom that you were looking for, that now you're kind of stuck in a rough spot, and this Valpo, this fight should be favoring Valpo. Kiriko being able to jump away there, Cry at least falling down before dying there, and then L coming back in, almost picking off Hamster, but Hamster being able to just get healed up just enough. Lucio going to be forced to back up, and Valpo now pushing their robot and going to be able to get their first real meterage on the board here, especially off the back of a pick right there on Lucio, just jumping in a little bit too far, I think, trying to disengage Hamster off the back and win the DPS, but, spending a little bit too much time there, just getting traded out for the health, and Valpo now in a really good position here to try and contest.
Yeah, going to be pushing this forward, approaching 25 meters.
Yeah,
And, There
have
goes
them out
the
to all
gates.
Gates are going to be open. Mizuki is going to be able to transfer that right back there. Try falling really, really low here. Hamster going to be able to pop the ult as well. CQ9 with the first trade, but Hamster falls down. You're going to get no tank here, but there's so many low health bars to the side of Valpo that you can get a pick here on Lucio. Yeah, that's huge. Although, what's it called? Although Hamster is dead, you do have the health trade, and now you're playing in a really great spot here. Yeah, I mean, there's the push down. And we are, excuse me, we're gonna be pushing in. You have the health trade, CQ9 dying there. L, I was gonna be able to trade out and then Wraith mode out the Bastion ult. So you trade 1-for-1. You're trying to slow it down a little bit. You have OC from CQ9 coming back if he does get back in this fight. Excuse me, with the stun right there, it's just gonna be a little bit too strong. Domina finding a great angle right there. You're gonna be able to take out L. Because now Happy Squid stuck in the back with Cry. You do have 2 healers, but the stun in the back wall is gonna be so huge. Cry just cannot get out of that spot, and the area damage is going to be a little bit too much, forcing Valpo to back up here. Did get 65 meters on the point, so definitely very, very helpful. Happy Squid trying to just get out as fast as he can, but Hamster getting ulted right here on the block, and the damage might just be a little bit too much as the walking with Lucio is too hard to counter there. And now Valpo being forced to just try and catch this robot at a disadvantage, not having Hamster, but having the knowledge that they are all in this corner here. Oh my goodness. Domina finds another angle there as well with a great stun and going to be able to pick off before L can get Death Blossom off. Valpo just dying a little bit too much with their ults available, right? You're not getting much usage out of it. You're giving them space to catch up to you, and they're coming up on 4 ults here. You know, 2 ults ready and 2 ults already at 90%.
Yeah, gonna be the farthest Washtenaw has gotten so far. Got both DPS ultimates ready though. The pop something here. Got the blade early from Washtenaw.
Blade's gonna be fine 2 right there in the back line. The third one dropping as well. And that's gonna be 4 cleared out for Valpo. All that's left is Hamster on, or excuse me, L on point, and L just cannot last for long. 120 meters. Pushing in. 3 minutes left, so you got to make a stop right now. You're going to try and get out of this corner. Domina going to take a light of your damage. There's the Mizuki ult as well. The Beat's going to drop the trade, and they are just pushing in. The Mizuki ult's going to block a lot of that Bastion use right now, but the Domina ult's going to be huge to shut down Hamster. Hamster falls. Happy Squid follows second, as well as CQ9 with the OC is not going to be able to do much there as 3 fall down, 4 fall, and all that's left is Cry on point to delay, but it's not going to be for long. The 5th falls in a clean 5-0, and that is going to be the series. Washtenaw taking it 3-1 over Valpo Academy in this NECC match.
Yeah, I think the tank difference there again in that one, unfortunately, the matchup just not working in Valpo's favor. So made it really difficult to get anywhere and kind of hold the line, especially when coming back to the robot after dying. It was very easy for Washtenaw to kind of push their way around and go where they wanted. But a good showing, I think, for Valpo for the most part. You know, maybe losing 3-1 in the series, but definitely had lots of moments in some of those games. I mean, the first one I think was definitely winnable. So
yep,
not all hope lost.
Definitely can't complain. Right, a lot to show and a lot more to play as well. So I feel like Academy, you know, had a lot to take from this game and to be able to move forward with it even after a loss. So that's gonna be it from us here in the booth today. Thank you guys for all the likes, comments, follows, and subscribes. Thank you for all of the support on this stream, and we will catch you guys at the start of our next stream.